Hartsuff Memorial Hall was built in 1899 as a Grand Army of the Republic Hall, a meeting hall for Civil War veterans and their families, a place for them to congregate. It was spearheaded by the Women's Relief Corps, and they helped raise $10,000 to build this building. And it is on the National Historic Registry of Deeds and is one of only 5 all-wooden halls left in the state of Massachusetts. I'm not fully sure why it was important for the veterans to have a place to meet, but I feel it gave them a sense of camaraderie after being on these battlefields with their brothers in arms and losing so many people, to have a place to go and meet with others that went through this, and to also just have a place where they could talk about their experiences and feel safe. I feel that was very likely why this was built. My name is Matt Warner, M-A-T-T, Warner, W-A-R-N-E-R, and I am a member of the Hartsuff Memorial Association. We are in charge of keeping this building open for historical purposes, and my role in that is welcoming the world of the paranormal into the building. This building has been on my radar for a long time. Being a local, I had driven by it many times, and as a young boy, seeing cannons, that excites you. So I would drive by this building with my family and see the cannons and always wonder what this building was about. And as I got older, I was able to find out some information on the building and who's in charge of it. For lack of a better term, weasel my way in the door and get to talk to the people and see what they were all about. And here we are today. General George Hartsuff was a commander. He was in charge of the troops from the Massachusetts area that fought in the Civil War, and he was very important to this local region due to that. And there are many things in this town of Rockland, Massachusetts named after him. So when it came time to open the doors here to the fans of the paranormal, we chose to name it Hartsuff Hall in memorial of him so that the history would be staying alive. So since this was built in 1899, it has had a few different purposes. The unfortunate thing for us is there's not a lot of written history. So a lot of this has been verbal history from different people in the town historian members here. It has been used as a day school actually for 1 year in, I want to say 1926 and 27. It was used as a school, which would have been in this room right here. There's been 2 funerals held in this building, 2 weddings held in this building. Also, the Civil War reenactors have been meeting here for quite some time as well. And upstairs, as you guys get into the attic, you're going to realize we have a lot of Oddfellows things here. We were told that they never practiced here. Through some diligent research, we're kind of starting to believe that that's not true, but we were told that by an Oddfellow that they didn't practice here. So draw your own conclusions there. In terms of the building and its paranormal past, a friend of mine was fortunate enough to get in here many, many years ago to investigate. And I'm not sure how he led to get that opportunity, but I always knew, okay, this building local to me has got some ties. And as time went on, I really wanted to get in here just to see for myself and investigate and get a feel for the building. And I had a friend who was a member here, and I kept, every time I'd see him, I'd say, hey, tell him I want in there, tell him I want in there. And they got sick of hearing it. So they finally were like, let the guy come in and we'll talk to him. And we have a lovely relationship now, and we have documented quite a few amazing experiences in this building. Some of the general experiences that most people seem to experience here are the sound of the footsteps on the staircase, which those are the squeakiest, creakiest wooden stairs you'll ever encounter in your life. You can't knock the fact that that's a footstep. People hear that a lot, especially they will hear when we're in this room, they'll hear walking in the ballroom up above. The attic is known for shadow movement. The basement itself, people haven't had a lot of experiences, but there has been a person or spirit or a shadow peering around the corner into the shooting range that numerous people have encountered. So some of the paranormal stories that have happened in this building have come to me via the members who've been here a lot longer than I've had. I've been in here for a couple of years now and had my own. One experience that they had that stands out to me is there's a reenactor and his nickname is Bear, and he is massive like a bear, gentle giant. They were doing a Civil War swap meet in this room a couple years back, and he was coming in through the kitchen. As he came into the kitchen, he saw a gentleman in full Civil War uniform standing next to the stove, and he said hello to him, and as he looked at him, it fell right through the floor and disappeared right in front of him. And he kind of did one of these. He said, "What?" And didn't mention it to anyone because he thought he was crazy and didn't want people to think he was crazy. He didn't tell anyone that story until I started poking around, and then he felt comfortable enough to let that story be known. One of the other members at one point has spent more time in here than anyone. As he was leaving the door to this room to head out into the foyer one day and lock up, to his left, he saw someone run up the stairs and around, only from the waist down. We believe that may be the Civil War Confederate soldier that was not allowed in here. Samuel Burnett was a local who fought on the wrong side of the war in the Civil War, and after they lost, he came back up to town. He would try to come to the meeting hall and get in and hang out with some comrades, but they wouldn't let him in. They would lock the door until the meeting was over, and then they would let him in. He would pace back and forth in that foyer. We still hear what we believe to be his bootsteps pacing back and forth at all different times. Another experience that I personally have had here, which is up there with one of the scariest experiences I've ever had in the 20 plus years I've been doing this, is in the attic, which is my favorite spot in this building. I was up there with two of my investigator friends, and we were admittedly just goofing off, making funny footage. And I saw a ball of energy about the size of a soccer ball, goldish in color. And it's one of my abilities when they tap in, that's how I see energy. And I stopped for a second. I said, there is actually something going on up here. So I continued speaking to it. And as I was talking, right in front of me, about 6 feet away, next to a pillar appeared, about 6 feet tall, white, drawn hair to the shoulder, like very gaunt male. And it was white in color, but not translucent. So it was solid. And I looked at him, he looked at me. I jumped back a little bit. My friend's like, "What happened?" I said, "I don't want to be here anymore. I'm good. Like, I'm going to go home now. We've had enough for tonight." And he still interacts with me, and he knows that he startled me, and we have a good relationship now, but a lot of people have also seen him in shadow form. I'm still the only one that's seen him in full-bodied apparition, but he was seen in shadow form by numerous people on different occasions. To me, it very well could have been a soldier. He seemed in his late 20s in that nanosecond that I had to look at him. I don't know if he was sickly or perhaps he was injured and this was how he looked before he passed. I'm not really sure, but I would believe it has something to do with that. On the second floor, outside of the ballroom, we've had numerous interactions with a little boy. We believe his name is Benjamin, about 10 years old. For whatever reason, he will not come into the ballroom, but he does hide behind the doorway, and he will interact with any of the different motion type devices that we have. One time we were here investigating with Sherry DeBenedetti, and we had a bunch of toys, and we set them out in order to see if he would like to play with these toys. And throughout the evening, we did get interactions with different equipment, nothing earth-shattering or mind-blowing. Night wraps up, we pick everything up, we leave. I came in the next time I was here, which wasn't very long after, and I went upstairs, and right in the threshold of the door was this little figurine just standing there. And I sent her a picture. I said, "Did you forget some?" She's like, "We picked everything up." And I said, "I know we did, but I think Benjamin wanted to keep this one." It's still in the building somewhere. We haven't seen it. It is still here. For tonight's investigation, I think that Jason and JV should definitely focus on the attic. The attic seems to be the most active spot in the building, but that's not to downplay the fact that there's been experiences in every spot in this building. My personal thought is the basement is the quietest, but there's still been experiences there. If I had to pick two spots out of this whole building, it would be the attic and the ballroom for spending an extra amount of time in. So myself and my group, Warner Paranormal, we run investigations here. We do public events where we teach people how to do the ghost hunts, and we also offer this as a private rental for groups that want to further their own research here. That's something you can do by reaching out to us on our website at warnerparanormal.com or on any of the social medias. We are there. We're all over the place, and someone's always there to answer any questions you may have.